The Vedas.
What's good, my Nazarenes? This is the Vedas, chapter 3. I must apologize. I've been away on this series, but we're back. To those that are here for the first time, please refer to the previous chapters. And please remember that this is not a religion. It's not a movement. This is definitely not paganism. Vedas was something that the whole world lived by. It was understood on a molecular level, um, the oneness, and it proves in the Vedas that it's not paganism. It talks about it, and the reason why we can believe in the Vedas is because in the Slavic languages, every word means something, meaning it has substance and it's there for guidance. It tells you exactly um, what you're supposed to do. So, for example, let's say a word like wealth or rich, right? And we think to ourselves, do we know what that means? Are you wealthy when you have a lot of family? Are you wealthy when you have a lot of money? What is rich, right? Well, in the Slavic language, it's bohate, thou that knows God is what wealth is. Um, and I wanted to show everyone before we start reading the Bukvica. So the Bukvica is an ancient system. It comes from the Slavic runas, but what looks like an alphabet, it's actually a uh, a system. It's 49 letters, so it's 7 by 7, which is your 7 spiritual bodies. And if you do all of those, you master yourself. We'll get into the Bukvitsa in detail as this series goes along. So remember, the way I read this is I read the Santi. Santi is basically Perun, the thunderer god, talking to the descendants, and the Santis are long. And then I skip to where it starts to talk about creation. So once again, if you're hitting this video for the first time, you might want to refer to the previous chapters. So we go on. Do not offend your neighbors. You live with them in peace and harmony. Do not humiliate the dignity of other people, and may your dignity not be humiliated. Do not cause trouble to people of other faiths, for God, the Creator, is one over all lands and over all worlds. Do not sell your land for gold and silver, for you will call curses upon yourself, and there will be no forgiveness for you all the days without a trace. Defend your land and defeat with the right weapon all the enemies of the human race. Protect the Rasen and Sviatorus clans from the foreign enemies who come to your lands with evil intentions and weapons. Do not boast of your strength going to the battle, but boast from the battlefield going down. Keep the wisdom of God secret. Do not give the secret wisdom to the pagans. Do not convince those people who do not want to listen to you and heed your words. Save your temples and sanctuaries from the desecration of the pagans. If you do not save the shrines of the holy race and the faith of your ancestors, years of grief, resentment, and suffering will visit you. I do want to take a quick pause and highlight that it says pagans because in the Slavic languages, um, that's Yazichnik, and that's what the Slavs called pagans. Yazichniki were people that they didn't understand, and in modern tongue, that's what translates into English as pagans. So we go on. Whoever flees from his land to a foreign land in search of an easy life is an apostate of his kin. May his kin not forgive him, for the gods will turn away from him. May you not rejoice in someone else's grief, For whoever rejoices in someone else's grief calls it grief to himself. Do not speak evil or laugh at those who love you, but respond to love with the love, and you will find the protection for your gods. Love your neighbor if he deserves it. Not destroy the bonds of the family union sanctified by the gods, for you will go against the law of the one creator God and lose your happiness. Let not the child be killed in the womb of the mother, for whoever kills the child in the womb will incur the wrath of one creator God. Love your wives, your husbands, for they are your protection and support, and of your whole family. Do not drink intoxicating drinks. Know your limits in drinking, for whoever drinks much intoxicating drink loses his human appearance. And now we read chapter 3, the creation. But the further the primordial living light moved away from the one whom we call the great Ramcha, the less bright was the light of Inglia, which more and more often pushed back and pushed aside the darkness of non existence, the darkness of emptiness. In each cluster of primordial living light, many worlds and realities appeared, and so far, far away from the one whom we humans call the Ramcha, for the last time his primordial living light was poured out like great accumulations. In this primordial living light, living beings appeared, for Inglia was the life bearer. Part of the primordial living light poured out into the deep depths, and there mixed with the darkness and gloom and primordial flashes appeared from which our universe and the universe is located above were born, but everywhere, both at the top and at the bottom, like a blue river, there were a strip of primordial living light, not mixing with the darkness, called the golden path or the heavenly area. From top to bottom in the new reality, various worlds were reflected from the surface of the heavenly area, and in them special realities developed, inhabited by special beings. The higher the realities are located, the greater the number of senses and beings inhabiting them are gifted with. In each locality, there was far from just one reality, but many realities. And in the beings inhabiting them had the same number feelings, but the feelings of the beings in these realities lying next to each other were different. Such is our endless new eternity in the new reality, and in it still burn great accumulations of primordial living light, of which our suns are a weak reflection. The primordial light connecting many realities, giving birth to the great trees of worlds. Shout out to Romaniya poet Jim Dillinger, my boy David Melody. This was Vedas chapter 3.